Let me tell you a true story. I got into whiskey for the same reason many do: the hunt, the chase, the unique community and bonding you can find between other fans, history and lore that goes into every bottle, and all the production and its ties to American and world history. But the real story that is brought out of it, for me, is I've been able to connect with people on different levels that I didn't before. It's one of the truest and happiest stories I get out of this community. And on that note, it's time for us to look at another true story. This one coming from the infamous Henderson family. And if you don't know the Hendersons, you probably do, even if you don't by name. The Henderson family started Angel's Envy. Ever heard of it? In 2010, West Henderson, son of Lincoln Henderson, the Bourbon Hall of Famer, started Angel's Envy and really kicked off the finishing craze that we see, especially in American whiskey. Angel's Envy, finished in port casks, became a staple of every restaurant and bar across the country. If you like whiskey at all, I can guarantee you've had it. Well, a couple of years ago, Wes stepped aside from Angel's Envy, went out and wanted to do something new on his own. So him, along with his sons, started a new whiskey group and officially founded True Story Whiskey, continuing the legacy they started at Angel's Envy by focusing on quality barrels with incredible and unique finishes. This time they could experiment, be a little bit more nimble, and their first two releases, a finished bourbon and a finished rye, are prime examples of that. So without further ado, let's get into what exactly these are. Let's start with the finished bourbon. First of all, bomb-ass bottle. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. These are sweet. They're like a porcelain almost exterior, or it's not, I don't know if it's metal, but it is glass on the inside still. It's one of the coolest bottles you've seen. Bold choice they made on the bottle. Kudos to the Hendersons and the True Story folks. Let's get into the bourbon. So the long and short of it for the finished bourbon is that it takes 4 to 5 year old bourbon. We don't get a mash bill, so we don't know where it could be sourced from. And then it finishes them in white muscatel barrels for anywhere from 2 months to a year. And if you're wondering, what the hell is white muscatel? I was with you. But if you're thinking it sounds like Moscato, you're not far off. It is indeed a grape type that comes from that kind of same grape category as Moscato, but it is a little bit different. It's more specific. And so it finished in a white wine barrel, which I think is a very interesting choice for a dark and sweet spirit like bourbon. So, how does it work? Let's see right now. Coming in at 90 proof, let's see how this bad boy hits the senses. Super sweet, super fruity on the nose, as you would expect. All your sweet caramels are there, like candied green grapes, again, reflecting the finish. But just a little bit of like pepper. Super, super fruity though, on the nose. Take a sip. Beautiful spice that comes through. An interesting, pretty quick drying, like right on like the middle palate. There's almost a light Welch's grape juice to it, like the sharpness of an orange rind, but with the flavor of green or white grapes. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Really nice, dry candied fruit on the finish. Beautifully proofed out at 90, I think is awesome. The True Story finished bourbon is available for $59.99, $60. It's not the oldest whiskey, but the finish is very unique, and they actually put a decent amount of time into the finishing. In this market, I think that's a pretty good price for especially a smaller distillery. Big as the Kentucky Castle is, they're still a younger company. All right, well, with the bourbon out of the way, let's talk rye. I'm always a big fan of finished ryes for the most part because rye is so bold and strong, even at young ages. Spicy, prickly, herbally, grassy. It does really well with fruity finishes. So I think it complements it really, really well. This one is very, very interesting. This one is rye whiskey. It's a blend of Kentucky and Indiana rye, a little Indiana 95.5, if you know, you know, as well as some Kentucky rye, similar ages, but this one, the buzzword of 2023-2024, Amburana, as well as sherry cask. Now, sherry with rye, I think is beautiful. I'll admit something. In all the craze of the Amburana finishes, I never had anything Amburana finished. I never tried it. I'll be honest, I don't know what it is. I didn't bother looking it up for this video because I've never tried it before. It's a Brazilian tree. Fun, but I've never tried anything in that category. So as I said, this one is a blend of Indiana and Kentucky rye, finished for a similar amount of time to the bourbon in sherry as well as Amburana casks. This one is bottled at 100 proof, beautiful proof, great for sipping and for cocktails, priced at $69.99, so a little bit more expensive than the bourbon. I would imagine some of that is due to the casks they have to get for the finishing. I believe Amburana might be a little bit more expensive. I don't know, but it is more specialty. So to me, that might lead to the price jump. Let's give it a go. Whoa! Is that Amburana? Is that what that is? It's like minty, mentholy. I mean, again, we know it's rye. There's a lot of 95.5 rye, a lot of high rye content, which often will give me a very strong minty, grassy note, but this is different. It almost is like there's a Mentos dropped in this. Like Vapo Rub with a little extra fruity sweetness. Holy crap, that's unique. Even for like a super herbally rye. Wow. I don't even know what to make of that. Yeah, it's like if Vapo Rub threw some strawberries and like grapes in it and then crushed it into whiskey. That is fascinating. Super spicy. The nose follows right through to the palate. There is almost a minty coating, mentholy touch to it that covers the whole mouth. Oddly enough, it's not very drying. I thought it would be, given its contents, given its finish. Light grape and almost raspberry on the palate. But again, super strong mint, toothpaste, herbal. It might sound gross. It's fascinating. This one is a very interesting one. I don't know how often I find myself sipping it neat. I feel like you could make some fascinating cocktails. A mint julep to like double down on that mintiness almost, that mentholy nature could be interesting. Mixologists out there, you have a task on your hand, but when you do, I bet it'll be a phenomenally fascinating cocktail. If there's one thing I've learned from this release of the true story options here from West Henderson and the Henderson family is that they went out on their own to try something bold, tell you some stories, and hot damn, did they do it. They took what they already did at Angel's Envy and just kicked it up a few more notches. If you like to try things that beat down their own path, seek out some true story. Till the next time, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below what your favorite finished whiskey ever has been. And until the next time, we'll see you then.